Who the hell is Megan Morrison?
She's the new girlfriend.
Where did she come from?
Nowhere.
When I'm with you, I feel like me.
He's what I've been looking for a long time. Kyle West is
offering you a contract marriage. This is not unprecedented in the world of the A-listers. If you sign this, you are going to be able to do whatever you want.
You want me to play the girl on your arm, so you can do what? What's your big secret?
Kyle's not in a good place right now. I don't want to clean up another train wreck.
Well, let's make sure this one stays on the rails.
Is this all worth it?
Hello.
Look at this crew, guys. The arrangement. Give it up one more time. It's a great show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
This show is about an arrangement between one of the most successful actors that is working in the moment in the world of the show, an arranged marriage. And it sort of feels a little like something that may or may not have happened a few years ago in Hollywood that was the talk of the tabloids and the town. What did you think when you first got the script? Did you think that it was inspired by that?
No. No.
Does everyone know what we're talking about? I can't say the name because... Okay, great.
Well, the truth is, once you read the show and you read the script, you realize that these are... my character, Megan Morrison, is a waitress when she first meets Kyle at a screen test. So she doesn't
Not the star of a basic cable soap opera. Got it.
she doesn't have any street cred just yet. But, so there's a lot of... these are their own different characters, and they're not really taken by anyone else. And I guess the idea of an arranged marriage could be perceived to be taken from something, but that has been around for so long as the studio system has been around. So, I mean, we're just taking something old and making it new.
And talk about your character, who is the most famous person possible in the world in this show.
Kyle West is he's a guy from Oklahoma who basically had a pretty rough upbringing, rough childhood, and he found himself in LA like I think a lot of people do. A lot of people either go there to pursue a dream or go there to escape maybe they're wherever they're from in their lives. And so Kyle shows up in LA and at some point meets a guy named Terrence Anderson, who becomes his best friend and mentor, who is the who runs the Institute of the Higher Mind. And I think he attributes a lot of his success to the Institute, and he somehow becomes, to where when we find him in the show, he's definitely he's the biggest film star in the world, and living in this crazy world that I don't think that he ever imagined he would get to achieve, but. It is a crazy world, and we kind of dive into that pretty quickly, and you also obviously get to see how he kind of reacts to meeting someone that strikes him and has an immediate connection and falls in love with, and it's a whole crazy world that none of us are really know what it's like. So it's an interesting character nonetheless. Yeah.
Now, I think there's only one organization that's often referenced as the sort of only pseudo-religious organization within Hollywood, but there are many of them operating in different ways. Why do you think actors and actresses are so sort of attracted to pseudo-spiritual religious groups?
I thought about that a lot, just given the nature of the show, and of course I'm not an expert in this at all, but I think ultimately, whether they're actors or anyone, really, people want happiness, and people want to be happy. And they're looking for ways to do that, and they're looking for answers. And these groups, they say that they will guide you to that. And I think ultimately that's what everyone wants, and that's what the attraction is.
Carra, talk about your character in the show.
I play Sean, and I'm Megan's best friend in the show. And we were friends from college, but I'm an attorney, so she pursued acting and I pursued law. So I'm the friend with money. And so I help her sort of navigate this new life that she's been thrown into. And we also really are best friends. So she's able to come to me personally and professionally because of my expertise as an attorney.
One of the things that your character is going through in the episodes that I saw of the show is whether or not this is an arranged marriage. She's not necessarily sure that this is, I mean, it's set up like an arrangement, but she doesn't know if this guy actually loves her or cares for her, and that's sort of her major dilemma.
Yeah, I think you question the motives that Megan has. Is it the relationship? Is it the career success that she would gain being with this international superstar? Is it the money that she's getting from him? And I think all of those are very appealing things, and I think that that is something that is sort of what's driving her. But I think that I think I'm interested in what people are going to take from that.
Josh, I'm curious, I thought this when I would watch Entourage, but anytime a young actor gets the role of the biggest movie star possible in the show that they're playing, is that weird? Does that feel weird?
It's weird and it's not, I guess. I mean, it is definitely weird to try to get into the headspace because I've been an actor for 15 years, but I don't really aspire to ever be the biggest star in the world. I can't imagine what that brings to your life, given that you won't have privacy and things like this. Like, Kyle genuinely falls for Megan, and he falls hard, and he can't just have a normal let's get to know each other style relationship. There's a protection level that he needs, and so that's where this contract comes into play. And
immediately too, that protection level has to start very quickly.
That's right, and he doesn't want that. I think it honestly, like when he knows that she's probably he doesn't know how she's going to react to this contract. He knows that it's going to have to be put in place, but it's kind of a little embarrassing. It's like look, I truly do really care for you, and this is real for me. But this freaking contract is like, it's just like, it's a protection plan, I guess, because we really will have no privacy from this day moving forward.
So his feelings are genuine.
I think they do have real feelings.
Yeah.
When they meet, there's an instant chemistry that they have. And I think that's the real motive behind it all. He's being advised to not be with her, and she might be advised to be with him, but
she is auditioned.
She is auditioned for
to be with him.
To be in a movie. She auditions to be
right,
in a film.
right. Yeah, excuse me.
So she meets him on just a regular audition, and then they hit it up there, and he asks her on a date, and it sort of takes its direction after that. But they meet on a film audition.
There's a moment in the pilot where Kyle's watching her original audition, and I think he's like, okay, I find her intriguing. I definitely want to meet her and read her, and in person to person, and see how it goes. And then as soon as he kind of sees her portraying this character and sees how real she is and how deep she takes this, he's like, that girl blew me away. I have to get to know more. Like, I have to pursue this. And as she said, Terrence is probably going, Kyle, the last thing didn't end well, because he at the beginning of the pilot, he's in a really bad kind of a public breakup, and it wasn't good for him. It wasn't good for the Institute, and so that's why Terrence is like saying, take it easy, slow down, but he can't. But at the same time, they're getting to know each other. They have this almost love at first sight moment, but they still don't know each other. So as these two characters are getting to know each other, the audience is getting to know the characters, and it kind of all happens at the same time.
So that's ultimately what the story's about. Can true love at first sight really exist in such a manipulated environment, whether it's Hollywood or this cult-like organization that he's a part of? They have all these outside influences, and can love prevail in that?
Oh, I'm so fascinated that they're actually in love. I was so much more cynical going into it, and while I was watching it.
Well, it raises the question because there's so many boons to being in a relationship like that, especially for her. Right. Well, what is everyone hiding, really? I mean, throughout the show, and I think that's what we'll progressively find out. But I think at its core, it is a love story.
How realistic does the show feel as a sort of behind-the-curtains Los Angeles story? Carr?
Well, in all of my experience behind the scenes in Los Angeles, I think that's what people are going to love about it. It does give you a great behind-the-scenes look into how much it's orchestrated and how much everything is, sort of set up, and everything has to be intentional. This is why he needs a certain level of protection. And this is why, me as her friend, I'm trying to protect her as well and tell her to think it through before she encounters all this. So I think there is a lot that's very accurate about it. And then there's some that's, enhanced for dramatic effect. But I think people will really love the up-close look that they get behind the scenes.
Being young actors and basically playing characters whose lives can't really function normally because they're so famous, and now taking being on a show that may take off and make you extremely famous. Do you think twice about that? I mean, there's those scenes in Venice in the second episode where you're just stalked throughout the entire thing. Do you sort of worry about fame?
No, it's not something that I've ever really worried about. You know, I live here in New York City, and I think I did that intentionally. I like the seclusion of it, being outside of Hollywood, just focusing on my work, and I think that's how I've approached it, and that's where my interests lie. So it's not something that I'm ever afraid of. I mean, yeah, it's like seeing these things and on billboards and stuff, it's kind of overwhelming, of course, but I don't fear it because I don't think I'm afraid of how it would affect me.
Josh?
Well, you know, this industry, being in this industry, anything can change at any moment. One audition, kind of like what happens to Megan in the show, she doesn't expect to ever maybe this quickly land a role that could be this big for her career and shooting opposite Kyle West. I mean, you never know. And I've had auditions where I was the one away from, you know, being in some big movie franchise and you don't get it. And if you do get it, yeah, your life's going to change. But just same with this show, though. I mean, this is a very kind of pop culture style show on a pop culture network, which instantly can change your life. I mean, we feel really good about the show. We're excited to be a part of it. I've been on shows that have a ton of viewers and it does change your life, and then kind of, you know, if your career calms down or if the show goes away, then it's all about this. Yeah. And you know, getting to that level where it's just like you cannot go anywhere without everyone knowing who you are it could happen to anyone.
That said, it is a pop culture network, or a network with a pop culture show, but it is a cinematic show. It's beautifully filmed, and I think you see that in both of the episodes that I saw, specifically in Venice. I mean, was that amazing that you guys got to go to Venice for the second episode?
That was surreal, but I agree. I love the way it looks. I love the colors. I love how we shot it, and we did lots of things on long lenses, and I think that is beautiful. And it's not your traditional show on a pop culture network. It's not what you would expect. So that is definitely exciting. But Venice was surreal, and also this life imitating art experience for me in a way. You know, we're filming in Venice, the most romantic place in the world, really, somewhere I've never been. And her life, she's experiencing all of these things for the first time, and I sort of was too, and there's something just really sweet and beautiful about that for me. That experience was really great.
Yeah, I felt really good when I so we shot the whole season, and I really trusted everyone. I definitely trusted our writer, Jonathan Abrahams. He's incredible. I trusted our directors that came in, our DP. He's amazing.
He's incredible.
But I didn't know. I hadn't seen anything, and I
You never know, right? It's kind of like what you just said.
You're right.
One audition could change your life, or sometimes you could get a role that you think will change your life,
That's
and then you
exactly
go to
right.
the screen and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Totally.
That's not changing anything.
That's so true. You know, it does happen. I mean, I've done movies where the cast was awesome and we were so excited and the script was great, and then you see the final product and sometimes you're like, oh, what happened? Like, that's not what I expected it to be. Yeah. And it's just kind of all we can do is kind of show up every day and know our lines and do the best that we can do for our characters and hope that everyone else is that it all aligns and becomes something great. And I love how it looks. I'm so impressed with everybody that we got to work with. And yeah, I'm really, really blessed to be a part of it.
I just think Megan's best friend should have definitely been in Venice with her.
Touché.
My plus one. Yeah.
That said, I think that everything did align for this one. It does look beautiful, and the writing is fantastic, and it far surpasses, I think, what you would expect for like a pop culture network and a pop culture show. There's a lot more depth to it. I'm curious, does the best friend become a bit more suspicious about the arrangement as the show progresses, or does she just stay excited for the opportunity?
Well, yeah, she's suspicious from the beginning. I mean, who wouldn't be, you know, with their best friend getting a contract? But yeah, she definitely gets more suspicious, but then you just have to stay tuned and see
Yeah.
the rest.
I think, you know, Kyle's a character that has a tremendous amount of structure in his life and control, and Megan doesn't. And I think Carra's character, Sean, is a piece of structure for her. She's a lawyer. She's the one helping her look over the contract and trying to advise her in a way. I mean, what the show, I think, has done really well is normalize something that is so unbelievable, so surreal, that this girl's life changes overnight, meets this guy, he presents her with this contract to marry her, and it's kind of strange and it's weird, and I think these characters have helped justify it.
How often do you think this happens?
I don't know.
All the time.
What do you guys know?
Yeah, you know, it's a great question, and that it keeps people guessing. You know, are they really in love, or is this just something to help their film and their career, and you know, help the whole thing? You never know. I think that the contracted relationships have definitely happened for real in Hollywood. I think that we know that.
Lena and Biebs, right? No.
Ooh.
I'm like going through my mind
Maybe.
of like all
So
pop
am I.
culture couples. That
I try
dress
really
alike.
hard not to have that cynical approach to like any kind of
Of course,
couples
you
in the
wanna believe
news.
in love.
But there is, I don't even that. I just want to believe
I
that
do.
people could like hang out
Okay.
normally and have like a nice time together. But there are sometimes couples where you're like, are you?
No
Come
way.
on, that's
Yeah, I know.
unbelievable. Like, both of you are on the precipice of becoming famous, and this seems a little too perfect.
Yeah.
I won't mention names. I don't even have a joke off the top of my head. Sorry.
That's part of the Hollywood hype machine. Like we've all heard that phrase. That's real. There's a marketing strategy involved in everything. So you can't help but wonder and question it. Yeah.
Let's open it up to you people for questions.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. Thank you.
I was wondering, do you guys find yourselves similar to your characters or further apart?
I've thought about that a lot. You know, I think Megan is a very relatable young girl. And as an actress, there's a lot of things that I obviously relate to her. But the ability to do something like this, I feel like my history isn't relatable in that way. I have a bit more advisement or more structure in my life. You know, I wouldn't do something like that. So in that way, I'm not like her at all. You know, she's a lot more vulnerable than I am. But I do think she's relatable.
For me, I mean, Kyle comes from Lone Grove, Oklahoma. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so that's a similarity. He's an actor. I'm an actor. Similarity. He's the biggest movie star in the world. I am definitely not. He gets to fly on private jets. I don't. Well, I have, but let's not go there.
Don't brag.
But I do relate to him in the sense of like, as in another part of the show is that we all have a past, and there's stuff and secrets and stuff that may or may not be revealed through season one. I use stuff from my childhood or from growing up, which he also does, to get to places emotionally as an actor. So he and I are the exact same person in that sense. But I can go out right now and go to Starbucks and hang out and go to a bar tonight and probably not get attacked or kidnapped or just crazy bombarded by people, and he will. So there's differences and similarities in us for sure.
That's a great question. Although I'm not an attorney like Sean is, I'm very much an artist, very much a free spirit in some ways. I've waited tables tons of times and been fired. I'm actually a terrible waitress. I've been fired from waiting tables before. But I'm very organized, and I'm the friend that like keeps all my friends on track. And if we haven't seen each other in a while, I'm the one that's gonna organize the brunch date. You know, I like details and time, so I do like a sense of order, as much as you can have as an artist. So I think that we have that in common.
I'm gonna be honest about something. I would do this in a heartbeat. As soon as they showed me, soon as he showed me that private jet, I would show me where to sign. Let's go. Next question.
How you guys doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
My question is this. How was the filming process? How long it took for you guys to build the chemistry together?
That's a great question. So the filming process was a couple of months. The audition process for me was probably a couple of months too. But I think what's great about the show is that these people are meeting each other as it's all unfolding. So chemistry is happening almost in real time. So it's awkward at first, and you're feeling each other out, and you're getting to know each other, and that's kind of what it's like when you first work with someone. So that was a interesting component of this relationship. But Josh and I got along really well right from the start, and we have great working chemistry.
Yeah, there was you mentioned life imitating art earlier, but in a way, exactly what happens to them on the show. We didn't fall in love in real life, obviously, but with the connection, our chemistry was there, and that's why we both got hired for this show. Is because if Megan and Kyle don't have chemistry, or if Josh and Christine don't have chemistry, then it's probably not going to work, right? The show really relies on that, and so in a way, what happens to them on the show happened to us in real life, which is great.
I think we have time for one more question.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Good, thanks. I'm excited to check out the show.
Thanks.
Venice sounds awesome, so I was wondering what that experience was like and if there are other destinations you'd like to film in the future.
Oh yeah.
Venice was incredible. I just shooting there was like, it was kind of like nothing like New York, obviously, but in a weird way, maybe kind of like New York, like the guerrilla style shooting that we had
Yeah,
to
the
do.
Italian crew, it was guerrilla. I mean, we would shoot from 2 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon to maybe like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning because there were less tourists during that time. But the Italian camera crew were awesome. Like they were a bunch of Italian guys just following you around and just drinking tons of espresso and
They were bad
whatever
dudes.
attitude that they have. It was great.
Because you had you had like the older Italian women that are coming from the market with their bread and their herbs and stuff, and they don't care that we're shooting a TV show. They're like, that's my home, and get out of my way.
They don't care.
So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We also got to take this boat that had to
Totally. We rented a boat for like a scene, and the director's like, "Let's get on the boat and let's ride around the canals."
We
and
took
we're like,
a cruise, and
yeah.
they shot the whole thing, and it made the show, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy experience. I mean, I'm like, yo, let's have Kyle shoot a movie in Australia next season.
Oh, Australia. Okay,
Right?
that's good. What about you, Cara? Where would you want to go?
Oh God, it's so many places I haven't been.
I think
Paris.
Greece.
I love to go to
That would
Paris.
be fun.
Yeah.
Burbank.
Yeah.
You ever been to Burbank?
Put me on a studio lot.
to
I don't
Burbank.
care. I'll go anywhere. Who am I kidding?
Guys, the show is fantastic. Congratulations. It premieres this Sunday, right? What time?
Yes.
Oh, 10/9 Central. I should
right.
know that. Yes.
This Sunday, 10/9 Central. The arrangement on E. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.